Brian Kerr, we're just behind us here. We're looking out at the end of the Manchester City celebrations.
The dregs of the celebrations.
But listen, it's been, I suppose they finished the season off in style, didn't they?
Oh yeah. Well, look, Brighton gave it a good go. They were awkward opponents. The usual Chris's team, well organised, combative, prepared to throw their bodies in the way, to block shots, make tackles, and they had to do all that for the first 20 minutes. A couple of little bits on the breakaway, but not much. And then they come up with the golden set piece. I said before the game, it was likely their best route to goal would probably be from a set piece. It might be Duffy or Dunk. In fact, it was Glenn Murray. I thought initially Duffy got his head on the corner. Great whipped in ball. The marking was strange. They had two of their smaller players marking the two biggest players with City. I'm not quite sure what the organisation was there, but a great header by Murray. But the problem for Brighton was that they couldn't hold out for just over a minute, I think, before City scored. Great ball from Laporte, and it just shows you that the defensive players are as good as passers as the attacking players. Great ball from Laporte, little flick on from Silva into the path of Aguero, and he sticks her in from an awkward angle, as he does so often, under the goalkeeper's legs. And I thought in that moment that was it, that they were going to win the game. I felt before the match they were going to win the game, but obviously Liverpool supporters got a bit of hope out of Glenn Murray scoring the goal. Then the second goal was a poor goal from Brighton's point of view, because normally they're very good at defending that sort of situation, corner kicks, free kicks. There's always a lot of them against them because they don't have so much possession. But Laporte got away. Murray made the wrong move. He didn't mark him close enough for the first in the first situation. He gave him 6 or 7 yards to make the run. He looked and he had a look at him, and Laporte made a little run as if he was going to go across him onto the ball, but he went in behind him. He was completely free. Great header. And from that moment, I never thought that Brighton were going to get a second goal. Goals have been scarce for Brighton this season. I think 35 maybe this season. Yeah, I think it's 35. I think 34 last year, and they got 35 this year. But they went 7 matches without a goal, and then they got 3 in the last 4 games. But they were all 1 goals and a couple more penalties. So to get a goal, I wasn't expecting them to get another goal.
Yeah, I think the key there as well, Pascal Gross missing for so many games, and he's a real key man.
Well,
I know he was last season.
Yeah, but he's a man that he scores a few, but he also sets up goals. He's very good. I mean, I think when he was in Germany, where Ingolstadt, before he came here, he had the most assists in the Bundesliga the season before he came to Brighton, even though they were near the bottom of the league. So he can make a goal, score a goal, but his problem is that against City he's having to play as a midfield player in front of the back 4, so it's a 4-5-1. Murray's isolated. And after that, while the City supporters, I felt, were a little bit anxious in the second half because it was only a 1-goal lead, I never thought that Brighton were going to score. And then, Gundogan wraps her up with a brilliant goal, brilliant free kick, and it was a doddle for them really from then. The ice on the cake, 4th goal, another brilliant goal. But look, they're a superb team. They're deserved winners of the league. When you finish, whether you finish 1 point ahead of everyone else or 10 points, you're deserved winner. It was only 1 point this year. I have a lot of sympathy for Liverpool. They've been an outstanding team also. They only lost 1 game, but it's significant they lost that game to Manchester City. And I think that proves that City were deserving winners. They're the only team in the league that beat every other team in the league at least once. The majority of them, they beat them twice. Liverpool, they only beat once. But that proved to be significant. That turnaround of the 3 points in that game. Had Liverpool got a draw in that game, maybe they could have won the league. But they didn't. And I think it was Sané was the second goal that day. That goal proved to be the most vital goal of all. So an absolutely wonderful season, the best season we've had for a long time in terms of the competitiveness of it between the top 2 of who was going to win the league. Not maybe as memorable as the season of Leicester winning the league, the underdog win the league. It's a long time since anyone broke into that category. I suppose Blackburn, but even Blackburn Rovers had Jack Walker's money at the time. For Leicester to do what they did a few seasons ago is still a remarkable story. Manchester City are a remarkable team. They've won 2 in a row now. Can they do a 3 in a row? Manchester United last time to do that. They well could do that. They've got quality players. There doesn't seem to be any hanging threat that some of the players are going to leave, that Real Madrid or Barcelona are going to buy the best players. That doesn't seem to be there. They have the money, they have the resources to retain their best players and to add to this squad. So it's going to be hard for anyone to match them. But obviously Liverpool came so near this year. They could do it next year.
City will keep lads, Brian, but they'll have no trouble keeping lads. But there's a few key men there. Vincent Kompany on his way out, probably David Silva could be on his way out. Sergio Aguero's a good bit on the wrong side of third. You know he's had a brilliant season this season. Is Pep going to have a bigger kind of, I suppose, rebuild this summer than Jurgen Klopp will? And with that in mind, do you think Liverpool actually might have a better chance of doing the title next season?
In my moments of idleness before the game today, I counted up the number of games Vincent Kompany's played in the last 4 seasons. Would you believe the total is 80, which makes it that he's averaged 20 games a season across all competitions in the last 4 years. One season he played 12 games. 2 seasons ago he played 12 games. So he hasn't been a major part of these victories in the last few seasons. He's been probably important as a captain. He's probably spent a lot of time in the medical room and in the gym and so on and hanging about. I'm sure it's been very frustrating for him. The delight of him scoring the goal against Leicester on Monday obviously was a lot of that delight would have been driven by the frustration of not playing often enough. So, Stones, Otamendi are there. Laporte has shown himself a class act. They may well add another player to that position. They've got Zinchenko, I think. I don't think they'll try and sell Zinchenko this year. It looked like he was on the way out last year.
I don't think he can play that role.
Well, I think he played the left back role very well. I mean, they won every game he's played. I think he's played 22 games in the Premier League between this year and last year, and they've won every one of them. I think he's played well. But I'm sure they'll add the squad. The question on Aguero, I mean, I think 2 years ago the manager felt Jesus was going to be the one, Aguero was going to be the bit player, but he wasn't having that, and he proved himself again that the one thing he's adapted his game to what Guardiola wants. Aguero has had to become a chaser, a harasser, a nuisance to defenders as required by the manager, and while you're at it, just keep scoring on 32 goals I think this season, 21 in the league. So I think there's certainly another couple of seasons in him, and what we might see is more rotation and have him playing less games, less of the games that he thinks the manager think he can win without playing them. David Silva, maybe he has been an absolutely wonderful player in the Premier League all the time he's been here in England. Outstanding player. Will this be his last match or his last season or his last match in the cup final? I don't know yet, but it seems like he's talking about maybe moving on. But the emergence of Bernardo Silva, I think, and the fact that he probably could be just as effective on that left side as on the right side, and the way he played today, not playing the advanced position, playing in the dropped off position, as I'd call it, in the 3 in midfield, and getting Mahrez into the team, shows the quality they have. And you think how important Yaya Toure was to them in the past, and he just faded away gradually. We've seen Gundogan's emergence now with the injuries to Kevin De Bruyne, who was the outstanding player in the league probably last season, a bit player this year because of his injuries, and maybe brought on by playing at the World Cup, and Belgium playing a long time at the World Cup. Many of the players did, but De Bruyne hasn't had an outstanding season because it's been injury ravaged, I suppose you'd call it. But he'll come back better than ever, I would say. So they're not short of options. They've had 6 for the 3 midfield positions, and Gundogan has emerged as being one of the top 3, I think, this year. Or maybe it'll be 4 from 3, but I think Gundogan is in there now. Fernandinho has a bit of work to take that place as well. So look, whoever challenges next year, they're going to have a big job to overtake this team. And unfortunately, the other regular top 6 contingent have been a long way behind this year. I mean, Spurs, 13 defeats in the league, 19 defeats in the season overall, 1 game to go for them. Manchester United nowhere, Arsenal nowhere, Chelsea beat Manchester City 2-0, but too inconsistent. Other than that, problems with the attitude towards the manager. There seems to be a lack of support for him throughout the club. Remains to be seen, will he be there at the start of next season? If he wins the Europa League, will that save him? It didn't save previous managers. It didn't save Benitez. So, they all have a lot to do to get up to the level of Liverpool and Manchester City. I would say Liverpool have the least to do, but they still have a bit to do, because this team are relentless in the pursuit of trophies. They could win the domestic treble in the cup final with Watford. They're favourites to do that. Liverpool can, I suppose, finish off the season in a beautiful way by beating Spurs, or Spurs could beat Liverpool and finish off what's been a very mixed season, awkward season, I say, for them because of the whole Wembley. We're going back to Wembley. We're going in September. Well, no, it might be November. Well, actually, it could be February or March. Well, it will end up being March or April. And it's been awkward for Spurs, I think, because it's been difficult for the supporters going to Wembley, and the lack of atmosphere, lack of closeness to the pitch, the lack of familiarity, I suppose, of their team, the happiness of the opposition to be playing at Wembley and making it awkward for Spurs. I think Spurs had only dropped a few points at White Hart Lane the last couple of seasons before they left. They had one season unbeaten. I think maybe one season they lost one match. But on the field, squad-wise, Spurs have a lot to do to get to that standard. So unless some of the rest of them, I would say Chelsea are probably the next nearest. Excuse me. Arsenal obviously have a lot to do as well. Unless Chelsea, I'd say in particular, do very good work this summer, I think it looks like Liverpool, Man City. But I think we should just kind of absorb the brilliance of this competition this year, of these two top teams, the brilliance of the matches, the excellence of the football, the relentlessness of their pursuit of the big league, of the big win. Liverpool didn't get it. Manchester City did. Liverpool can finish off the season, I said, with the biggest trophy of all in football by beating Spurs, but they may not do it.
You would hope so, Brian. But I know you would. But
make no apologies for saying my team is St Patrick's Athletic.
Absolutely.
I have never cried about Spurs losing a match. I have often cried about Pats losing, right? Lots of cup finals and sad days. But I've always had a bit of a feeling for Spurs. Spurs is a team, one of my teams. I've always had a team in every division. From when I was a kid, I had a team like Preston was my team. Doncaster was my team. They were playing today against Charlton. Scunthorpe I had, and I had Dunfermline, I had Ayr. I had a team in every division I used to, and I still maintain that. I look at every result. I look at every result in every league. Spurs happen to me, but I don't get upset, and I don't refer to them. I don't say we should do this or we should, like many supporters of English teams do. I'm not away. I'm not from North London. I'm from Drimnagh, and Pats was my nearest League of Ireland team, and it's still my team. So those of you that watch me on Twitter reacting to Spurs winning during the week, settle down. It was just a match. I was delighted about the outcome, delighted in the change of Spurs' fortunes on the night. It looked like it was gone, but if it was Pats in the league match, which it will be against your team, next Friday.
I hope you'll be crying in front of me.
It might be with joy, it might be with pleasure, but it might be just seeing a great League of Ireland game between two respectful Dublin rivals, let's say.
Indeed. Just to ask you finally, Brian, because look, it's been already, people are hammering City because they're talking about the money and the fact that they've won these 4 titles since Sheikh Mansour took over. Do you have to look at every single title win that City have with that in mind?
With a jaundiced eye.
Yeah.
Well, look, there's a bit about them that, the world domination thing where they have the clubs in various continents feeding into the whole project, let's say. That I look at that with a bit of a view of going, does it take the pleasure out of it somewhat for Manchester City supporters compared to how they used to be, how they were as a club?
I think they're quite happy.
Yeah, I think they are quite happy supporters to see the ongoing wins, particularly in Manchester, been under the shadow of Manchester United for so long. But if you're a more neutral look at it, you kind of, I don't like the look of them stockpiling all the best young players who won't play in the team. Foden has made a breakthrough. Will anyone else make a breakthrough to their first team from all the brilliant work in the academy? And are they keeping them there to stop other clubs having them, or do they really want to put them into the first team? So that's one. Chelsea have done the same sort of thing, and they very rarely use the players. We see the emergence of Hudson-Odoi a bit this year, and Loftus-Cheek to some degree as well. Will we see them getting through to the first team? I mean, why bother with the academy at all if you're not going to play them? So there's a bit of me about that kind of. But I look at the excellence of the football, and it's a joy to watch. Guardiola, I have ferocious admiration for his style, not his style of his clothes or any of that. I mean, the style of football he plays, the courage he plays with, the innovation that he tries at times with some of the positions the players, particularly that one where he used to walk the full-backs into midfield to try and overload the midfield. I don't mean on the flanks, walk the full-backs into central positions in midfield. Now he's gone away from that. I think he's a bit more pragmatic, I think, this year under the threat from Liverpool. But, I think the style of football he coaches and how he does it, and the rehearsed movements, that there is no doubt that's not off the cuff, that stuff in the attacking areas of the pitch. A lot of that is detailed rehearsal of positions and rotation of movement. And I just think he's a fabulous coach, and they're a beautiful team to watch. Sometimes they're so good that it's almost boring because they're so good and so much better than everybody else. But I love the matches against the teams who challenge them, like Liverpool, like Chelsea when they're at it. Not today, they were beaten 6-0 this year. Like Spurs when they have a go at them in the Champions League and have a go at, and like Manchester United when they're on a good season or a good day. Arsenal to a degree, but not many teams are able to take them on because they're so exceptionally good with magnificent players. Picking magnificent players isn't that easy. Some people say, well, they've all the money, but lots of clubs get it wrong. We see with Manchester United, lots of clubs get it wrong when they recruit players for substantial sums of money, but their recruitment and the ability of the manager to manipulate those players into performing at their best is an exceptional job, and so something worth rejoicing about if you've any sort of feeling about football at all, or nice football, or easy on the eye football, or the nice things in life. I think they're a fabulous team.
Brian, looking forward to next season already, and I'll see you in Richard next Friday.
Well, I'm looking forward to Richard next Friday much more than next season, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the League of Ireland season. While people over here in Britain are whinging about no matches, we'll be able to go to League of Ireland every week through the summer, and it'll be great.